You know, thinking about giving your kids a really complete education, it can feel, well, huge. A bit daunting, actually.
It really can. So many subjects, different ways kids learn.
Exactly. But what if there was something already built, designed with real care and detail?
That's exactly what we're looking at today. We're going to do a deep dive into some sample course packs from Jill Dixon's curriculum.
Right. And it's really important for you to remember this is just a sample, a small part.
Yeah, the full program spans 35 weeks. These are just examples from various levels K through 3, 4 through 8, 9 through 12.
Across different subjects, too, like history, geography, language arts. So think of this as just a pace test, really.
hmm Our goal today is just to show you how robust these are, how much thought went into them to give you a feel for the learning experience.
And, for any parents listening, maybe wondering about this, these aren't brand new.
No, not at all. Jill Dixon has refined these over years. They've been used successfully by students year after year. They've got a real track record.
Okay, great. So where should we start? Maybe look at how varied the activities are. Let's perhaps unpack some week 3 examples.
Sounds good. Let's begin with the K-5 history for week 3. The topic is the dividing of the Roman Empire and Constantine.
Okay.
And right away, you see it's not just one thing. There are timeline activities. Kids are cutting, gluing
Oh,
figures.
that's great for the little ones, hands-on.
Exactly. Very tactile. Then there's auditory learning with things called time rhymes, plus reading from the story of the world, and then worksheets too.
So hitting different learning styles right there. It's not just reading and answering questions.
Precisely. And I noticed something interesting, a spot for parent comments on how difficult it was, or if there was frustration.
Oh, that's smart, like built-in feedback.
Yeah, it shows a real responsiveness. And even for the geography part, the mapping is tailored. For K1, it might just be coloring or pointing.
Adapting to the age group makes sense. Okay, what about language arts for the younger kids in week 3, K3?
Similar integrated approach. They tackle vocabulary through root words. This week it's VL, meaning strength.
Ah, so kids learn valor, valiant.
Right. And they connect it. There are worksheets like same and different. And learn that word,
Hmm.
which even suggests, acting out words or getting parental help.
I like that flexibility. It's not just drills, is it?
No. And they weave in literature, Chanticleer and the Fox for this week. And the comprehension activities sound really engaging, like a recipe of reading and the 5 W's, an H, a V.
Helping them break down the story elements? That's clever.
Plus there's phonics, the all family, instant words like but and it letter, sounds for the very youngest.
So it covers all the bases.
And it even includes core knowledge idioms like down in the dumps. There's an activity where kids draw the literal meaning versus the real meaning.
Oh, that's a fantastic way to get them thinking about figurative language. Okay, so how does this change for the older students? Let's jump to 9-12 language arts, same week.
Okay, well, the complexity definitely ramps up, as you'd expect. Vocabulary still uses roots like kyojiegi and VLAL again.
Building on what they learned earlier, potentially.
Potentially, yes, but the focus shifts. More emphasis on using a dictionary in Bentley and a structured vocabulary workshop.
Right. More analytical?
Very much so. And the literature component, called Read with the Best, uses the Nun's Priest's Tale from Chaucer.
Wow, okay, so Chaucer for high schoolers.
Yes. And the activities go deep. Background on Chaucer, literary analysis diction, beast fable, mock epic, critical reading questions.
So really digging into the text.
Absolutely. And there's even a make it real activity connecting medieval pilgrimages to modern ones. Plus a preview of a writing assignment, SAT prep elements.
It sounds incredibly thorough. And the idioms are still there.
Yep, down in the dumps again. And others like downsize, plus authors and lines they expect students to know, like, alas, poor Yorick, Chaucer, Louisa May Alcott. It shows that spiral, that building of knowledge.
It really does. Okay, so that gives us a good sense of the variety within a single week. Now, how about the depth and complexity progression? You mentioned comparing week 3 with, say, week 5.
Exactly. Let's look at middle grades, say 6-8 history, but for week 5. The topic shifts to Augustine's Confessions and Jerome's Vulgate.
Okay, significant figures.
Definitely. You still see the century book and timeline work, but the reading is from the 100 most important events in Christian history,
Yeah.
and the questions demand more.
More recall and understanding, not just basic facts.
Right. Deeper understanding of the figures, their impact, the historical context. There's also a reflection piece on learning styles, which is interesting, metacognition.
Getting them to think about how they learn best.
And the time rhyme here has blanks to fill in specific terms about Augustine and Jerome, more active recall.
And the questions themselves.
They're open-ended, requiring detailed answers. Things about Augustine's conversion, his major works like City of God and Confessions, that's Confessions, his arguments, Damascus' role, Jerome's move to Jerusalem, the Vulgate translation. It's asking for real synthesis.
That's a big step up.
It is. And creatively, they have students design advertisements for these books.
Huh. That's a fun way to process it.
Okay.
How about language arts for middle grades? 4-8 in week 5.
Vocabulary again focuses on roots TURB and VOID, words like perturb, turbulent, devoid.
So still that root-based approach.
Yes, but applying it more creatively, defining parts of speech, synonyms, sure, but then using the words in newspaper headlines, drawing words, even a silly spiral sentence.
Making it stick in different ways.
Right. The reading is Castle Diary, and the comprehension questions are differentiated, slightly different expectations for 4th versus 5th graders, for example.
Acknowledging that developmental range within middle grades.
Exactly, plus grammar and editing exercises. But the big thing here is a major writing project, starting a historical journal.
Oh, wow. That's a significant assignment.
It is, but it's scaffolded. There are planning tools provided, story steps, elements of a good story, even comic book tips.
Breaking it down. That's crucial for big projects. And core knowledge idioms again.
Still there. This week includes Dutch treat and dyed in the wool. That consistency is quite remarkable.
It really shows how skills are built incrementally. Okay, let's look at high school history. You mentioned week 4 for that example.
Yes, week 4 for the 912 history sample, focusing on the Mesoamerica and Maya mystery. It still illustrates the progression well.
What stands out at this level?
The sources, definitely. Students are expected to read from multiple, more complex texts, encyclopedias, specialized history homework guides, overview books, the Christian history book again.
So juggling different perspectives and types of information.
Correct. And the history questions shift to a short answer format requiring factual support and, importantly, drawing conclusions.
So analysis and synthesis are key now.
Very much so. It's not just recall. You still have the timeline and century book, the learning styles reflection, the time rhyme, focusing on Mayan achievements.
Adapting the familiar structures to more complex content.
Precisely. And a major activity is an American civilization chart, requiring students to compare and contrast information about different civilizations.
Higher level thinking skills right there. And the questions reflect that too.
Definitely. They tackle more nuanced topics like origin, church disunity, Anthony's influence. It's a clear step up intellectually.
You know, I keep seeing the letters EAL in these materials. What does that refer to?
Yes. EAL stands for the Eclectic Academy of Learning. And you pronounce it just like the letters, EAL.
EAL. Got it. Thanks. So, wrapping this up then. Looking back at just these few weeks, it's pretty clear how much depth and variety is packed in.
It really is, and how interconnected things are. History informs language arts, vocabulary builds across years.
Yeah, you really get a sense of a cohesive plan.
And again, it's vital for you, the listener, to remember. This is just a small peek into a few weeks.
Right. Of a full 35-week curriculum developed by Jill Dixon.
Exactly. Hopefully it gives you a real sense of just how robust the whole thing is.
And, you know, for parents listening, I hope this offers some encouragement. Knowing that these course packs aren't just theoretical, they've been refined, they work.
They absolutely have a history of success with students. They've been honed over time.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
No.
Imagine the cumulative effect, the knowledge and skills built over an entire year using materials this thoughtfully designed.
What kinds of possibilities could that open up for a learner? It's definitely something worth considering.